the end of Stranger Things coming, it's time to dive in and do a tier list for who I think may survive or die. We have 5 different tiers here where it's no way they die, don't see them dying, but it could happen. Be ready to revive, and goodbye. Now, I got this idea a couple weeks back, but I do want to give a shout out to my friend Filmstock, who's a massive Stranger Things fan. Definitely go check out his tier list on this. He already did the work and created one of these. I was literally about to start this, and then I saw he had already done it. I was like, oh, cool. I knew he was probably going to have the idea as well. So definitely go support him. And without further ado, we're going to dive right into this tier list right now. Leave a link down below so you guys can also make it. Please tag me over on Instagram and Twitter with your guys's, and I'll go ahead and retweet those and repost. All right, so I say we start out with some of the obvious ones that I do think will not die, and that's Dustin. Dustin is just one of those obvious ones. His character arc doesn't scream to me that you would kill off this character. I also think that he's been through so much pain, especially with what's going on after the death of Eddie. I assume that he's probably going to be dealing with some of that, depending on how big the time jump is from season 4 to season 5. But I feel like Dustin, leaving him alive, he deserves that happy ending. I just don't see him dying here. I think if he were to have died, would have been a couple seasons ago, but I think he's safe overall. Which kind of leads me to my next one, which is Mike Wheeler. Again, another character that I just do not see them killing off Mike. And I will really say this, I really hope they get back to how of the forefront of Mike being a main character. I think the first season, he was such a great character to follow through with. And it was kind of disappointing, like the last two, they just didn't really give him much to do with. And I'm hoping that season 5, that kind of shifts and changes a little bit more. But with that said, since they haven't built up anything, I just don't see them killing off Mike remotely even close. I think last but not least, Lucas is also going to just not die. There's no way he dies. I just think this is another character that has gone through enough. If they were to have killed him off, it would have been last season when he was protecting Max. I think that's just the clear and obvious one, and he's gonna survive. But now let's get to someone who I think could die. That is our crazy conspiracy theorist. I mean, he's a goodbye. He's a goodbye on this. I just, there's no way in hell for me that I could see him surviving this avenue of what's going to happen in here. And while I do enjoy the character, it's the final season. I think if you're going to kill him off, he's probably going to be the cannon fodder of it. And also to add into this, I don't know what her character's name is going to be, but we got Sarah Connor as well joining the season. I think she's dead too. She's just another one of those that I don't see why you would keep alive past this, because I doubt that we're going to even get anything afterwards. The only thing I could see is maybe 10, 15, 20 years down the line, they bring everyone back, all the kids, once they're all grown up. But yeah, I definitely think Sarah Connor is going to die. Linda Hamilton, I love you. You're a great actress, but you are not surviving this season at all. This cute kid with the glasses, I don't know his name. He's a new character, but I'm going to say be ready to revive this kid. I don't know anything about him, what his backstory is, what they're doing with this character, but I will say I don't think there's a chance that he survives, but I also think there's a chance that he's probably going to die. Like, I would put him in that middle category. It could happen, but I'm more on the leaning towards the side of this character's dying. Now, let's get down to one that I think is in the middle of the road of this. I personally don't see them dying, but I also think there is a chance that they could die, and I think it's really a 50-50 coin toss on here, and that is our favorite Steve Harrington. Steve has probably been the most consistent character for me, especially with his whole entire character arc from season 1 of being this complete douchebag that you absolutely hate to the character that you absolutely love and want to see win in the end of the day. And I love Steve. I love everything that the character has done. I love Joe Keery as the actor. This is just one of those that I lean towards, if you were going to kill Steve off, you would have done it the last 2 seasons. But since you haven't killed him off, and the Duffer Brothers really much treat death in a unique way where they just don't seem to like give it to that avenue, which I like acclaim them for, but then there are certain characters that I definitely think should have passed already. And I definitely think Steve Harrington is one of those that just, I don't know. Like, there's an argument to be made that I could see him dying depending on what character arc they want to give him, but I could also see them writing it off and giving him a happy ending in the end of the day. While we're doing Steve Harrington, let's just do Jonathan as well. Jonathan's another character that I think is actually in that 50-50 category. I could see them killing him off, hurting Will, hurting Joyce, but at the same time, I could see them giving him his happy ending. I think my biggest thing is that they just, again, have not given Jonathan anything to do, especially last season. He had nothing to do all of last season. So this is another one of those characters that I just I don't see them doing, like, I see them giving him enough to do this season, but I just don't see them giving him enough to do that's going to warrant a death from him. It would be more for shock value than anything else, in my opinion. Leads me to our two leading ladies that teamed up with Eddie and Steve last season, which were Robin and Nancy. Now, Robin, I'm going to put don't see them dying, but could still. I'll leave that open. Robin is one of those characters that I really like. I love the chemistry. I loved her introduction in season 3. I think she's just been a standstay since then. Another case of they haven't given her enough for me to be like, there's a reason to kill her off. I think it would just be shock value at this point. And same thing goes for Nancy. I'm actually to the point where I would say, no way they kill Nancy off. No way. Nancy gets her happy ending in the end of the day, even if one of her boyfriends dies. I think she's going to end up with Jonathan. That's just my opinion. But I don't see them killing off Nancy. This is just another one of those characters that they fleshed out so well. If you were to have killed her, you would have killed her off in last season. It goes for Lucas's sister. I think her name's Erica. Why would you kill her off this late in the game? Is she even going to have that big of a role to play in here? I doubt it. I also might be dumb, but there's a photo on here that Filmstock put on that I don't know who it is. It's this long-haired person. I can't see their face. So I'm just going to say be ready to revive. If you know who that is, please correct me down below. I'm sure I'm going to get thousands of comments about that. Get into my next one, and this one is the weird one because I love Sadie Sink. I love the character on Max. If you gave me top 5 Stranger Things characters, I'd put her in the top 3 easily. Argument to be made that she might even be my number 1. Sadie Sink for me, though, is a character that I fully believe should have died last season. Should have died. I do not see what character arc you give her this season. I have no idea what you do with her. The only thing and only connection that I can think is maybe you give her powers like 11. Maybe you give her powers like 11. Especially since they're hinting at so much between Will and Vecna. I genuinely do not know what you do with her this season. Especially since she looks to be in a coma. So I'm personally going to put Max in don't see them dying. But there is that giant but. If she were to die, I'd be, peaked, surprised. But I wouldn't be like, oh shit, that's fucking crazy. Or, oh my God. And if she survives, I wouldn't be like, oh, okay, I expected that. I really would be pretty surprised if Sadie Sink died in this. And I still go back. I'm shocked they kept her alive from season 4. Now we get down to the bottom half of this, and we also got Mike's sister in here, who there's an episode titled "The Vanishing of Blank Wheeler." I'm assuming it's his sister. This one, I'm gonna put it could happen. Why is the sister vanishing? What are they doing with this? I have no idea. I have no context. I couldn't even give you a theory. It could happen. It could be the most prevalent thing that happens to Mike this season that really sparks up his interest of leadership once again. So I'm going to put it in it could happen. Because if Vecna takes her or Demogorgon takes her or whatever takes her, well, we know they usually kill them when they take them. Also getting down, Vecna. I think Vecna is a big ass goodbye. I love Jamie's performance as Vecna, but Vecna is not surviving this season. I would be absolutely shocked if he did. This is the Voldemort of this franchise. You kill him off here. You kill him off. You let him die. You perish. You close the Upside Down. You do all that sorts of things. Vecna is no longer needed here. And yeah, get rid of him. We don't need him. We get down to some of the bottom more. This is where it gets a little tough because we got Will, Joyce, Hopper, and 11 left. Whew. And a lot of the season seems to be very centered on Will, 11, and Vecna, especially from just what we've seen in the trailers. And when you have 11 and Will mixed into this, that leaves Joyce and Hopper to have a massive piece of this story as well. So I'm going to start out with Hopper. I think be ready to revive. Now, listen, Hopper should have, this is another one where I think Hopper should have died in season 3. I do. I think that ending was so perfect for him, but then I was very, very happy to see that Hopper survived going into season 4, and I actually really liked the Russian storyline. I know that might be like in the minority, but I really enjoyed that storyline. I thought it was a lot of fun. This is one of those cases where I don't need Hopper to have a happy ending here. He got his therapy with helping raise Elle. And I think that healed some of his trauma. I think he's in a good place for the most part. And while I would love for him and Joyce to end up together, I would not be shocked if he died. So we should be ready to try and revive him. I'll also put into this that I wouldn't be shook if he survives either. It's a toss-up, but I think I'm leaning more towards Hopper giving his life for Elle to survive. And that's where I'm actually, let's throw 11 in here now. I'm going to put her in, it could happen. Now, 11's an interesting one because I necessarily don't think they're going to kill her off, nor do I think they're going to let her survive. I think 11 is probably going to have to make a sacrifice this season for every single one of the characters. And I think Hopper, I could see actually dying, maybe leading into the finale, which leaves 11 into this despair of, well, she has her friends and family to keep alive. She just lost someone who has basically raised her for so many years. What is she to do? And my guess is, one, she's going to end up killing Vecna, probably with Will, who maybe Will will have powers and they team up or something of that nature. But I think 11's going to end up having to close the Upside Down or take control of it and survive in there. And basically, like, if the Upside Down closes and gets destroyed, then maybe our universe gets destroyed. And I think 11 herself, and I know I'm just spitballing, like, tons of random theories and ideas that probably have no credibility whatsoever, but I think 11 is going to end up having to stay in the Upside Down and live on her own and thrive there and become not the new Vecna of some sorts, but basically like the ruler, the leader. If that's not the case, I think we're just not going to know if she survived or not, but it's going to be that it's up to you as the audience to decide. I think it may piss off some people. I hate when stories do that personally, like either just give them the happy ending or don't. I definitely think 11 is in that toss-up category, and after seeing some of the trailers, I wouldn't be shook, but I also would be pretty interesting to see where this goes. Now, this is where we get down to the end of it, and I've been going back and forth on Joyce and Will. Will is definitely going to be a centerpiece throughout this entire season. There is absolutely no doubt about it. Just from the first 5 minutes that they already showed that I did react to, you guys should go check it out. I think I'm in the category. I'm going to put Joyce and don't see them dying, but I think they've put Joyce through a lot. I don't think killing Joyce off would really give anything to the story. I think she's in a place where it could really just not. It doesn't need to happen, if I'm being honest. So, with that said, though, if you did kill off Jonathan or Will, it could add a lot to her character in that finale. And if they were to bring back these people in 15, 20 years, she's one of those characters that you could easily bring back in 15, 20 years as well to add to that whole credibility. But I also wouldn't be shook if they killed her. I wouldn't be shook. I wouldn't be like, oh, well, that's shocking. No, this is kind of like I don't see them dying, but I could see it in the credibility nature, or maybe it'd just be kind of shocking in that factor. So let's get down to the big one then. Will, I don't know. I've been really going back and forth on this even before I started this video. Like I had my whole list already made up, and I really don't know what they're going to do. I think this season you do need a big death. I think it's the end of the show. You need a big death. And I think it has to be one of the kids. It has to be one of the kids. And while 11, I think, gets kind of this in the middle sequence, I think Will's the one that's going to perish. So I'm going to go with my gut feeling, and I'm going to say Will dies. I think Will ends up dying. I don't know what Vecna is using Will for, but I think this is it for Will. And again, like, this could easily change as more trailers and more marketing comes out. I just do not see Will surviving this season. It's one of those things where I think they're going to do a lot with the character of this, and I think they're going to build it up, and in the finale, he dies. I think maybe at the hands of 11, trying to fix the Upside Down, maybe Will's just too far gone. Who knows? But Vecna definitely fucked this kid up. But I'm definitely excited to hear your guys' thoughts. So please go ahead and make this tier list. Tag me over on Twitter and Instagram. Go give a shout out to Filmstocked as well. Thank you so much, man, for making this. And without further ado, guys, until next time, stay classy.